Super Mario 64 is one of the most popular speedrun games of all time. Whenever I watch a run of it, I always get blown away with what these runners are able to pull off. The movement's just unreal, and there's things that they do that make you question how they were discovered in the first place. I wanted to see if I have what it takes to learn to speedrun this game. I've run a few other games before, but I've never run a game with this much information on how to play it. Before I could just start running the game, I had to learn what to do. So I'll get started by talking about the route. I'm going to be running the 16-star category, so let's take a look at the current world record to see how Suigi did it. The timer starts at the title screen, and you have to sit through a minute-long cutscene every time. He hits Lakitu skip, goes through the castle doors, heads into the basement, and jumps through the floor. What? What is happening? This is a clip known as Lobby Backwards Long Jump, or LBLJ for short. It's a pretty hard glitch to pull off, and since this is my first time ever running this game, it's a bit out of reach for me. I ended up following the simplest beginner guide posted by Poison Woe. He really broke down every step of the run and made it a lot easier to learn. The route starts by going to Bomb Bomb Battlefield to get this star in the cage. There's a clip here you could do to get past the bars. By jumping twice, throwing the bomb, and picking it up before it explodes, the momentum will carry you through the bars. Oh! Hell yeah! Next, I need to go to Womps to get the next 5 stars. The first one I get is another clip called Cannonless. Normally, you would use the cannon to break open this wall, and then use the cannon again to fly into the star. But we can save time by doing a small setup and clipping through the wall instead. Yes! Oh, okay, that wasn't that bad. The second star here is pretty straightforward. Go around back and do a side flip to grab it. The next 2 stars are pretty similar, both requiring you to go to the top of the fortress. The triple jump needed to do this isn't hard to pull off. Well, it shouldn't be as long as you know what you're doing. You want to avoid jumping onto the stairs, since that can easily make you lose your momentum. By setting up a triple jump, you can wall jump up and make it to the top. Womp is an easy but a slow fight. You can literally just ground pound through him to beat him. As I said before, the following star is pretty similar. You do the same triple jump, and then you make your way up to the top of the tower. We can get the last star by being carried into the air by an owl. There's a faster way to do this, the owlless strat, but it was too risky for me since it's a pretty small time save. Heading over to Cool Mountain, there was 2 more stars here. The next one I'd always seen runners do, but I never knew how to do myself. Turns out, it's not too complicated. Pick up the penguin and line up yourself with this corner. Slide down both the slopes and you'll almost always land right in front of the penguin. Whoa! Oh, that was first try. The second star here requires a bit more skill. Double jumping off of a cliff, you can kick at the last second and land on this ledge. Make your way up the slope and hit this tricky wall jump to get the next star. Now that I have 8 stars, I'm able to unlock this door and do the first Bowser level. These type of levels are basically just long obstacle courses you have to navigate through. They take longer than most stars, and they're a great showcase of some of the insane jumps top runners are pulling off. And then there's me. Why the fuck did I just run off the edge? There's always a Bowser fight at the end, and all you have to do is throw Bowser into one of these bombs. I know on paper, that doesn't sound too bad, but it's extremely easy to miss this throw window. After beating Bowser, I make my way down to the basement, and the next star here is one of the hardest ones in the run. Just watch this. This jump is unreal. And the craziest part is, that's not even the fastest way to do it. Tricks like this are the reason I wanted to learn this game. Seeing a speedrunner hit this is mind-boggling to watch, so it's extremely satisfying once you finally hit it yourself. Ooh! There's one more star here in the desert. You just triple jump over the mountain and climb up to the top of the pyramid. Down the hall from the Sandlands is Lethal Lava Land, and I'm only going to be collecting the red coin star here. One of the last worlds is Hazy Maze Cave, and the stars here are pretty straightforward. You jump across this gap and wall kick up to the first star. You side flip up to this platform and long jump over to the second star. And for our third, we have to do a wall clip. By jumping under this platform, it's gonna push us through the wall and floor, and by holding right, you can get to the star. Keep in mind that somewhere in between those stars, you need to talk to this toad who will give you another star. He spawns after you collect the 12th star, and you need to talk to him for either the 13th or 14th. After getting the last star in Hazy Maze, Mips is going to spawn inside the basement. Catching him is going to trigger another star to spawn, but that one's evil. We don't want that. Instead, we're going to carry Mips over to this door and perform a setup to clip through it. But we have to make sure we bring Mips with us. We need to use him again to clip through this other door. That brings us into the last normal level, Dire Docks. This one's pretty simple. After swimming over to the submarine, jump onto the fin and make your way to the top, getting the 16th star. We're getting close to the end of the run, and there's only 3 main things we have to do. First, there's the second Bowser level. The Bowser fight at the end is just the same as before. You just hit him against the bomb once and it's over. Then jump back into the Bowser level and immediately quit, sending Mario back to the lobby. Use the key to this door and just casually jump through the floor. And now, I have to pull off one of the most famous glitches in gaming, the backwards long jump. In case you didn't know, BLJs are a glitch that allow Mario to build up insane amounts of speed. It's only possible since when this game first released, there was no speed cap for Mario's backwards long jump. Combining that exploit with this set of stairs, you can make Mario do several backwards long jumps off each step, making him build up enough speed to go through this wall into the next room. You could do it again to get past the infinite staircase. Oh! Oh! And after that, the only thing left is the Bowser level. Okay. Okay. This is one of the longer levels in the run, and there are some skips here that would save a lot of time, but it's really risky for me to do that since I didn't want to make mistakes right at the very end of the run. The Bowser fight's exactly the same as before, but this time he has to hit 3 bombs before you beat him. That's it! That didn't hit? That's it! Yes! Oh my gosh! It's over! I'm pretty happy with myself. For the first attempt, it didn't take as long as I thought. But I'm nowhere near done yet. It ended up taking me 2 hours and 57 minutes to complete. That's a pretty long time for such a short run. And I was actually really close to last place on the leaderboards. So, you know, I got a lot to work on. I did another run right after to make sure I had the route down, and I ended up taking a little over an hour off my time. That improvement's great and all, but I'm not gonna get anywhere by doing runs over and over. The only way to get better is by practicing. I spent about 10 hours going through all the levels. Some definitely required a lot more attention than others. And here's all the adjustments I ended up making. I had a hard time pulling off the bomb clip right at the start, so I opted to go straight for the chain chomp instead. I kept Womps, Cool Mountain, Lethal Lava Lamb, Hazy Maze Cave, and Dire Docks the same as before. These stars are some of the easier ones to do, so I just made sure I could try to hit them on the first try. I found the Shifting Sandlands to be the hardest world for me. Even with only 2 stars, the jumps in this world are incredibly difficult to pull off. I spent about an hour on the Vulture Star alone. It's the easiest one to fail, and I wanted to make sure I didn't miss it in an actual run. The triple jump to get over this mountain is a little tricky to pull off. I was never able to do it consistently, so instead I switched to using this crate to get over the mountain. Something else that took a lot of time was practicing my BLJs. The way I thought it was done at first was wrong. You're not just simply mashing the A button over and over to do all these jumps. There's actually a pretty consistent tempo that you want to be mashing at, and if you can keep that pace, it makes it a lot easier to pull off. For every Bowser level, they just required a lot more practice. They're some of the more linear levels, so I just needed to make sure I could hit all the jumps. However, I did change up the second one. Instead of going for this risky sidewall jump, I just stuck to the normal path. The Bowser fights itself were also something I needed a lot more practice for. It's pretty easy to miss these throws, and I'd be wasting a lot of time doing that in a run. I found some great tips for this, like throwing him after only a few spins and trying to go for the same bombs every time. I'd spent time practicing every part of the run, and so I finally started doing entire runs again. At first, I wanted to keep track of my splits, but while playing through my first run, I realized that wasn't gonna work out. Not only did I not do the research beforehand on where the split should be, I would just forget to hit the button sometimes. I ended with the 41-26, but after this point, I felt like keeping splits was gonna distract me during my runs. I didn't really have a set goal going into this, I just wanted to see how much I could keep improving by. I slowly chopped off more and more time, working my way down to a 25:36. I was still having a lot of places where I messed up, but I had definitely been getting better. And it was at this point where I started to stagnate. I couldn't beat my PB, and I started having runs where I was actually slowing down. After hitting this wall, I finally set my end goal. I wanted to break sub 25, and I was willing to do runs over and over until I did it. It's 3:02 a.m. Let's see if I get this. I've been speedrunning since maybe 9 p.m. like 6 hours now. I wanted to finish this tonight, and that has led me to staying up until 3 a.m. I had a rough start. I missed the first cycle of the chain chomp. It took me 2 tries to do cannonless, and I missed the wall jump for this star twice. Okay, a little slow right now, but we're gonna make it up later by finishing this run. I did better on the next group of stars and moved over to Cool Mountain, where I hit one of my cleanest mountain slides. But on the next star, I completely missed the jump, and I had to do it over. Thankfully, if I had to die anywhere, that's probably the spot since it's one of the quickest deaths in the run. I got through the Bowser level as quick as I could and moved on to the Sandlands, where I could make or break the run. Let's go. Thankfully, I hit it first try. I quickly grabbed the star on the pyramid, snagged all the coins, and went straight to Hazy Maze. I almost died again, but I kept moving through since I'm so close to the end. My hands are so sweaty, I almost fumbled that. I was able to pull off MIPS on the first try. I got the 16th star, and I moved on to the second Bowser level. This was a great pace for me, and I just kept trying to get through it. I had a bit of struggle on the Bowser fight, but after hitting the throw on the first try, all I needed was a good BLJ. I completely missed the first attempt, and I had a second try that should have gone through, but I finally hit it on the third. The second staircase gave me no trouble at all, and after making it through the level, the only thing left was Bowser. Oh! No way, no way. Holy shit. What a PB. That's crazy. Oh, I'm so happy with that. Dude, it's 3:26 a.m. right now. I've been grinding this out since 9 p.m. 6.5 hours, mostly doing resets. I finished maybe 3 runs tonight, and oh my gosh, was it worth it. I had a time I felt good ending on. Clearly, my run's not perfect, and it's far from the top of the leaderboards. But I just had a great time learning how to play this classic for myself. At this point, I put around 40 hours into speedrunning this game. I'll keep playing it on the side, and who knows, maybe one day I'll make another video. Peace!